For the rest of this course, we're going to be in sessions, dissecting what makes certain lines work within the context of their tone and their arrangement, and the playing techniques involved to make all of that come together. In this lesson, we're examining a Bruno Mars-esque arrangement. It's poppy, funky, and there's some clean and riffy guitars to explore. Here's where we're at. All right, so we've got some really nice funky bass laid down. And incidentally, the amp on this is just the stock Logic setup here. Very well played bass by a guy named Alex Scott. Fantastic playing. The first electric line that we're going to go over here is this clean setup. And in each of these lines, I'm going to show you the eventual take. We're going to break down the tone. And then I'm going to show you the struggle. I'm going to show you what I had to do to make this line work. It's far more than just a tone. You really have to get in the vibe. And this isn't the natural way that I play guitar. In fact, a lot of this stuff is not the way I play. I have to learn styles a lot of times for the kind of guitar that I'm wanting to lay down. A lot of times in the moment. So I'll show you those sorts of things as well, which I think is the most interesting, seeing how all this stuff comes together. This is done on a Strat. And really a simple line. The devil's in the details, though. Let's look at the tone breakdown real quick. This pedal board isn't being used. Sometimes I just have that on there as one of my stock presets. I like this drive for a lot of things. It's just stock Logic stuff. Here's my amp. It's the amp that you've seen before. Mids and treble boosted a little bit. Reverb is off. Gain is up just a little bit. To record this, had my preamp down considerably because I wanted it to be that thinner, cleaner sound. But we've also got a channel EQ. I'm rolling off some low end here at around 80. And I've actually boosted some lower mids a little. When you're working off of the bridge pickup on a Strat, sometimes you need a little bit of this warmth. One of the things that really makes this one tick, though, is the extra compression afterward. And you can see when I'm digging in here, I didn't want compression that created more input boost. I wanted to compress the clean sound afterward. Here's this sound without the compression. With the compression. And let's hear it in context. You really get to hear the difference in compression when you're listening to the line. It really sits in the mix much better, and it's less bitey, yet just as present when you've got that amount of compression on it. And then one thing I don't track with is this pedal, or this effect here, because it causes a lot of latency. This is a tone shaper, and it brings out some of those higher higher harmonic qualities. Here it is, without it. And this particular plugin will allow you to blend the tone shaping harmonic things that it brings out with the original. It's subtle, but it really works well to almost beef it up after we've thinned it out in some ways. This type of line is really challenging to play well, though. Even though it's simple, even though it's only those two things. Oh, turn that plug into the latency off. When we are doing stuff like this, we need to be very precise to the groove. Not on beat, but in the pocket. If I mute this out, initially when I play this line and try to do a recording of it, I'm not in the pocket at all. I really have to focus on dropping in the pocket. My tendency is to overplay. My tendency is to scratch too much. But if you listen to the arrangement, it doesn't need that. And a lot of what I did in the eventual take is once I got something that was in the pocket, I would actually go in and remove this stuff. Like this. It wasn't enough to just to not play it, because if I didn't play it, I wasn't able to maintain pocket. There's something about maintaining that scratching that, and that right there, I'd probably play that again or nudge it. Now it's rushed. Bring it back a little. Basically what I'm doing is I'm editing around this and leaving room for the other instruments. That one's rushed too. There we go. Still rushed there, just the second one. There we go. So, and that's too busy right there. I wouldn't actually have that in there because the drums are working there, the bass is doing something, so I don't need to add something there. And you can tell once I cleaned this up, you listen to this section, even on that sort of hack job take I did, it's doing what it needs to. It's simple enough. That little, that upbeat sort of syncopation thing there worked really well. The tone really comes, in this case, from the pocket. Tone's nothing special. Let's put that tone shaping thing, though, on and have that really sit in the mix a little bit better. Down. Simple stuff. We'll break down one of the other lines in this track in the next lesson. If you're recording, producing, or mixing guitars, perhaps you can relate to one of the two streams of frustration. Either the playing is great, but somehow isn't translating to the song, or to the arrangement, or to the mix. Or the vision for the song isn't being met by the playing. So either the production aspects are holding back the guitar, or the guitar is holding back the production aspects. And there's so much psychology, and especially if you're working with other players and you're not the player, but even if you are the player, oftentimes these two things don't align. Well, in this course, I show you through multiple real-world musical examples how you don't have to have killer guitar chops. You don't have to have lots of gear or lots of options. In fact, it's better if you don't. And how your main problem, if you're struggling to get great guitar sounds, isn't playing or production. It's the arranging mindset. And then this hit right here. All together. It's so noisy. How getting great guitars in the end is a big picture perspective. Everything that you love about your favorite guitar recordings is really about the culmination of everything you're hearing in that arrangement. How are the instruments working together in terms of pocket? My tendency is to overplay. My tendency is to scratch too much. What is the guitar player doing in terms of his role in the overall mix? And then automating rather than deleting little sections around where I want the thing to peak out. Pulling time in a certain tasteful way, and it takes a lot of takes to be abandoned but also come across as fitting in the context. In this course, you'll learn how simple it can be to take average playing, average gear, and even average ideas and fit them together in the right way to create compelling and really interesting and emotionally engaged tracks.